Israel's military forces are striking back after 3 missing Israeli teens were found murdered. The IDF killed one Palestinian who threw a grenade at troops carrying out an arrest raid in the West Bank. And the military is striking dozens of targets in the Gaza Strip in response to an increase in rocket attacks. Meanwhile, the nation of Israel is grieving the brutal murders of three defenseless teens. CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell has that story.
Israeli troops discovered their bodies in a shallow grave near the West Bank city of Halhul after an exhaustive, nearly 3-week search. Grieving Israelis took to the streets to memorialize the teens. Kidnappers abducted Ayel Yifrak, Gil-ad and Naftali Frankel, a dual Israeli-American citizen, as they waited for a ride home from school on June 12th. The nightmare gripped the nation for 18 days, partly because they could have been anyone's kids. Their names and faces became part of every family as Israel mounted a massive military search in the West Bank. Israelis and millions around the world hoped and prayed for their safe return. Israel's security agency said Monday the 3 were murdered shortly after being kidnapped. A burning car found by the roadside the day after the incident provided clues. Despite the tragedy, some say the attack was no surprise.
You have in the Palestinian Authority a long history of relentless incitement to hatred and violence against Jews and against Israelis. And then you have this pact that President Abbas signs with Hamas.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu blamed Hamas for the abduction. His advisor, Jonathan Schachter, said Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas needs to annul his pact with Hamas.
You cannot, on the one hand, say that you want peace with Israel, and on the other hand, embrace Hamas, which is a terrorist organization.
As the search for the murderers continued, it wasn't clear what Israel's response would be. Netanyahu pledged that Hamas would pay for the murders.
Israel has different kinds of options, political options, diplomatic options, military options.
Many Israelis feel the world just doesn't get it. While part of the world warned Israel against a disproportionate reaction, one analyst wondered what a correct response would be for terrorists who stole 3 boys and murdered them just because they were Jews. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.